The Kybalion, Chapter 9, Vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. The Kybalion. The great third Hermetic principle, the principle of vibration, embodies the truth that motion is manifest in everything in the universe, that nothing is at rest. Everything moves. Everything vibrates and circles. This Hermetic principle was recognized by some of the early Greek philosophers who embodied it in their systems. But then for centuries it was lost sight by the thinkers outside the Hermetic ranks. But in the 19th century, physical science rediscovered this truth, and the 20th century science's rediscoveries have added additional proof to the correctness and truth of the centuries-old Hermetic doctrine. The Hermetic teachings are that not only is everything in constant movement and vibration, that the differences between the various manifestations of the universal power are due entirely to the varying rate and mode of vibration. Not only this, but that even the all in itself manifests a constant vibration of such an infinite degree and intensity of rapid motion that it can be practically considered at rest. As the teachers directing their attention of the students to the fact that even the physical plane, a rapidly moving object, such as a revolving wheel, seems to be at rest. The teachings are that the effect that spirit is at one end of the pole of vibration, the other pole being certain extreme gross forms of matter. Between these two poles are millions upon millions of different rates and modes of vibration. Modern scientists have proven that all that we call matter and energy are but modes of vibratory motion. And some of the more advanced scientists are rapidly moving towards the position of the occultists who hold that the phenomena of mind are likewise modes of vibration or motion. Let us see what science has to say regarding the question of vibrations in matter and energy. In the first place, science teaches us that all matter manifests, in some degree, the vibrations arising from temperature or heat. Being an object cold or hot, both being but degrees of the same things, it manifests certain heat vibrations. And in the senses in motion and vibration, then all particles of matter are in circular movement, from corpuscles to suns. The planets revolve around the suns, and many of them turn on their axes. The suns move around greater central points, and these are believed to move around still greater, and so on, ad infinitum. The molecules of which the particles, kinds of matters are composed of are in a state of constant vibration and motion around each other and against each other. The molecules are composed of atoms, which likewise are in a state of constant movement and vibration. The atomins are composed of corpuscles, sometimes called electrons or ions, etc., which are also in a state of rapid motion, revolving around each other, and which manifest a very rapid state of mode of vibration. And so we see that all forms of matter manifest vibration in accordance to the Hermetic principle of vibration. And so it is with the various forms of energy. Science teaches that light, heat, magnetism, and electricity are both forms of vibratory motion connected in some way with the probable emanating from the ether. Science does not yet attempt to explain the nature of phenomena known as cohesion, which is the principle of molecular attraction, or chemical affinity, which is the principle of atomic attraction, nor gravitation, the greatest mystery of the three, which is the principle of attraction by every particle or mass of matter is bound to every other particle or mass. These three forms of energy are not as yet understood by science, yet the writer is inclined to the opinion that those two are manifestations of some form of vibratory energy, a fact which the Hermetists have held and taught for ages past. The universal ether, which is postulated by science without its nature being understood clearly, is held by the Hermetists to be but a higher manifestation of that which is erroneously called matter, that is to say, matter at a higher degree of vibration, and so called by them the ethereal substance. The Hermetists teach that the ethereal substance is extreme tenuity and elasticity and pervades universal space, serving as a medium of transmission of waves of vibratory energy, such as heat, light, electricity, magnetism, etc. The teachings are that the ethereal substance is a connected link between the forms of vibratory energy known as matter, on one hand, and energy and force on the other, and also that it manifests a degree of vibration, rate, and mode entirely its own. Scientists have offered the illustration of a rapidly moving wheel, top, or cylinder to show the effect of increasing your rates of vibration. The illustration supposes a wheel, top, or revolving cylinder running at a low rate of vibration. We will call this revolving thing the object in following out the illustration. Let us suppose that the object, moving slowly, it may be seen readily, but no sound of its movement reaches the ear. The speed is gradually increases. In a few moments, its movements become so rapid that a deep growl or low note may be heard. Then, as the rate is increased, the note rises, one in the musical scale. Then, the motion being still further increases, the next highest note is distinguished. Then, one after another, all the notes of the musical scale appear, higher and higher, as the motion is increased. Finally, when the motions have reached a certain rate, the final note perceivable to human ear is a shrill, piercing shriek dies away, and silence follows. The sound is heard from the revolving object. No sound is heard from the revolving object, the rate of motion being so high that the human ear cannot register the vibrations. Then come the perceptions of rising degrees of heat. Then, after quite a time, the eye catches a glimpse of the object becoming a dark reddish color. As the rate increases, the red becomes brighter. Then, as the speed is increased, the red melts into orange. Then orange melts into yellow. Then follow successively the shades, the green, blue, indigo, and finally violet as the rate increases. Then violence sheds away and all color disappears, the human eye not being able to register. But there are invisible rays emanating from the revolving object. The rays are to be used in photography and other subtle rays of light. Then begin to manifest the particular rays that are known to the X-rays, etc., as constituting of the object changes. As the constitution of the object changes, electricity and magnetism are emitted from the appropriate rate of vibration attained. When the object reaches a certain rate of vibration, its molecules disintegrate, revolving themselves into the original elemental atoms. Then the atoms, following the principle of vibration, are separated into countless corpuscles of which they are composed. And finally, even the corpuscles disappear, and an object may be said to be composed of the ethereal substance. Science does not dare to follow the illustration further, but the Hermetists teach that the vibrations be continually increased. The object would mount up the successive scales of manifestation and would in turn manifest the various mental stages and then on spiritward until it would finally re-enter the all, which is absolute spirit. The object, however, would have ceased to be an object long before the stage of ethereal substance was reached, but otherwise the illustration is correct, insomuch as it shows the effect of the constantly increasing rays and rolls of vibration. It must be remembered in the above illustration that at the stages at which an object throws off vibrations of light, heat, etc., it is not actually resolved into these forms of energy, which are much higher on the scale, but simply that it reaches a degree of vibration in which those forms of energy are liberated in a degree from the confining influences of its molecules, atoms, and corpuscles, as the case may be. These forms of energy, although much higher on the scale than matter, are imprisoned, confined in the material combinations by reason of the energies manifesting through the using of material forms, but thus becoming entangled and confined in their creations of material form, which to an extent is true to all creations, the creative force becoming involved in its creation. But the Hermetic teachings go much further than do those of the modern science. They teach that all manifestations, thought, emotion, reason, will, or desire, or any mental state or condition are accompanied by vibrations, a portion of which are thrown off and tend to affect the minds of other persons by induction. This is the principle which produces the phenomena of telepathy, mental influence, and other forms of action, the power of the mind over mind, which the general public is rapidly becoming acquainted, only to the wide dissemination of occult knowledge by the various schools, cult teachers along the lines of this time. Every thought, emotion, or mental state has its corresponding rate and mode of vibration, and by effort of the will of the person or other persons, these mental states can be reproduced. Just as a musical note may be reproduced by causing an instrument to vibrate at a certain rate, just as a color may be reproduced the same way. With the knowledge of the principle of vibration as applied to the mental phenomena, one may polarize his mind to a degree he wishes, thus gaining a perfect control over his mental states, modes, etc. In the same way, he may affect the minds of others, producing the desired mental states in them. In short, he may be able to produce the mental plane that which science produces on the physical plane, namely, vibrations at will. This power, of course, may be acquired by the proper use, instruction, exercises, practice, etc., the science being that of mental transmutation, one of the branches of the Hermetic art. A little reflection on what is said will show you, the student, that the principle of vibration underlies the wonderful phenomena of the power of manifestation by the masters and adepts who are able to apparently set aside the laws of nature, but who in reality are simply using one law against another, the principle against another, who work to accomplish the resulting by changing the vibrations of material objects or forms of energy, and thus perform what are commonly called miracles. As one of the old Hermetist writers has truly said, one who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power. I didn't get that. Oh, I did.